You've tuned into the Bellingham Podcast for the week of December 12th, 2021, at least for this time. This is episode 203. From that frosty, frigid city by the Salish Sea, I am AJ Barce.
And straight out of Santa's sleigh house in 98226, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, here comes AJ and Chris. Here comes AJ and Chris. Right down podcast lane. Yeah, anyway, that's the last you'll hear me sing. On this show, we're going to have another gift guide. I think it's our 5th annual gift guide of ideas to consider to get that special someone something other than a gift card. How impersonal. Why don't you tune in? We got a couple ideas for you that you may not be aware of next on the Bellingham Podcast.
It's beginning to look a lot like podcasting. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Oh, it's been a heck of a week. We'll talk about that in a little while. Glad to be on the stick again. It's been a while.
Whew, yeah,
they finally unshackled me from the ball and chain around my ankle, but now I'm able to use my baritone voice of the caramel nature, as you've put it in the past. How about yourself?
Just like you, just recouping from the week that was. And I think we'll talk about part of that later.
Sure. But first, we got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of.
Right. So I have a shout out, actually. So I was with a friend and colleague, and she was pointing out to me, did you know that Washington State, the Department of Health, now has a COVID status QR code? And I was like, say what? Because I thought previously when I looked at it, there were some insurances you could get your data and have it if you go into certain venues and stuff. Different places require different things, like if you're going on a plane, going to certain venues, etc. You have to show your COVID status, right? And I was like, no. So she pulls it up and shows me how you can add it. Get a screenshot of this QR code and stuff, and it's your document of the Department of Health here in Washington. And that way you don't have to carry that big Horkin card in your wallet.
Interesting.
So if people want to do it, there's a link in the show notes on our Substack at bellinghampodcast.substack.com. And I just want to give a shout out to Bren, because without her, wouldn't know about it.
Thanks to Bren for a heads up on that. Let's talk about the guy who I just was spending a whole lot of time with assembling toys for the kiddies, Santa.
Hey, Santa.
Where's Santa nowadays around Whatcom County?
Okay, so of course I have a little one. So you may have a little one too. And Santa...
We have a niece, yes. She's a cutie patootie. And yes, the niece... knows about Santa.
Yeah, right. So Santa, because of, the pandemic and stuff, especially last year, it was kind of hard to track down Santa.
Yes.
And so in our town, I have it on good authority, known as the internet, that Santa is going to make it to Whatcom County in the Bellingham area.
Awesome.
The two places that I have heard that he may park his sleigh is going to be Jaeger Sporting Goods. Usually he likes to park it up on the roof, so you won't see his sleigh per se, but it'll be down in the Toyland, down in the basement.
Not many people know this, but on the roof of Jaeger's, there's actually a spray painted little outline that is for Santa parking only.
Yeah, instead of an H for helicopter pad, it's an S for sleigh.
There you go.
So Jaeger's, and you can find all of that in our show notes. And then also I found out about this one, and I think this is where we might go visit Santa after he's done with doing the grand tour, of course. Bellwood Farms, the 4th through the 19th.
Hello.
He's going to be stopping in over there. So
at the time, based on your audio and editing expertise, for this to come out the week of December 12th,
right.
You got about a week to go.
Exactly.
And how wonderfully coinciding with breaks in the K-12 school districts coming up. So yeah, Santa will be around. It'll be good that he's making an appearance in Whatcom County for all the kids.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to. And like I said, those are the two that I could find. I know Fairhaven has their Winterfest. I didn't see him popping in there. And I checked with Mount Baker, and at least at the time of this recording, he won't be on his snowmobile up on the big mountain. But yeah,
keep the faith, kids. As long as you've been a good boy and girl this year, Santa should be hooking you up with some wonderful toys.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, we normally would have this spot in the show for advertisements for a new sponsor. However, times are a little tough, and I think some companies are kind of they're not really pursuing us as much as we want. However, those fine folks at Megaphone and Auto Flipper, go that we mentioned in the previous episode, go check out area code 248-434 5508 to learn more about those fine products. We don't have an advertisement this week,
No.
but still give them a call to check things out.
And of course, you can also find out more of the details on all of this at thenewshiny.org.
Yes, thenewshiny.org. That's right.
So let's get to the main staple of this episode. This is our 5th gift guide.
And as we've done a half decade of ideas for your Christmas holiday, we pretty much have set the standard that so many around the world have adopted or followed our lead. We're going for experiences versus things.
Yeah.
However, there are a couple things that you may not be aware of that we want to make mention of.
Yeah. And for the most part, a lot of what we're going to mention, there's short of maybe 2. You can find them here locally in the 9822567.
Yeah, I think I went for a little bit more stuff you can buy online. And yes, I'm aware of shipping times and things like that, but still check them out.
Yeah. So I'll start it off.
Tick.
So, Tick. That's an old school.
There you go.
So here's the thing. I like board games. I'm more of a classicist. You know, I love playing chess, checkers, Mancala, backgammon. These new fashion games, like I'm not saying like Dungeon and Dragon style, but like, you know, these tabletop games, I like the concept of them. Most of the time I find them complex, boring, because it's the Monopoly effect. I think they run too long. Well, there's one tabletop game that my brother and sister-in-law introduced me to and convinced me to take a different look at tabletop games. You don't need to, if you're a fan of Clue, you know, the old school Clue, like, you know, Colonel Mustard killed Lady Blanche in the conservatory. If you like that type of game crossed with, I don't know, like Scotland Yard, if you're familiar with that type of game where it's a whodunit type of a thing, check out Mysterium.
Mysterium, not Mysteria.
No, Mysterium. And basically what it is that it's a group game. So you can have, we had, I think 5 players playing. You have one person who's the ghost, and the ghost actually has these cards. You play these cards out, and you as a group have to figure out what the ghost is telling you, who, like, you know, killed the person in this Mysterium, in this hotel type of thing.
Interesting.
The game mechanics make the game go pretty fast, and at the very end, it's all you work as a group leading up to the end, and then as an individual, you put in who you think did it.
Okay.
It's really fun because the dynamic is you have solo play, game, group play, and then as the ghost, you're more of the strategic. Like, you have to figure out how, because you can't say a word. You're a ghost. You're dead. So you have to, when you play these cards, and these cards, Chris, are minimalist, obscure. Like, you'll have like this beautiful looking, abstract looking forest and this key with Viking horns and a lightning bolt upside down. Like, it looks like something out of a dark alchemy type of thing.
Interesting.
But it's those things where it points you towards, well, the lightning bolt is a tattoo on the person who killed the person's arm. And it's an interesting take of psychology.
Okay.
So anyway, Mysterium, the hook here in here locally is you can find this game at, say, the Fairhaven Toy Garden.
Yes.
Yeah, or maybe Dark Tower Games.
Okay.
And you have to forgive me, there's a new to me, board game shop up in Ferndale, but at time of recording, I can't remember the name of it.
Is it available at Walmart? Oh, wait, we don't shop at Walmart.
I
A
don't
question
know.
for you about Mysterium, AJ.
Yes.
What would you estimate the age range could be to play this game?
I solidly a teenager and up.
Okay, sounds good.
Not a little. My 5-year-old would. This is not approved for a 5-year-old.
A little bit over the little's head.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Sounds good. Well, along the lines of stuff you can do on a tabletop, back in my youth when I was a little shaver, I loved putting puzzles together because of the achievement of having that last piece that I go ka-thunk. Happened to stumble on somewhere on the internets where there is a thing called a $1 million puzzle. What the heck are you talking about, Chris? Well, it turns out that there's a company it's about $30 online, and this is a 500-piece puzzle that eventually, when you complete it, it's a picture of a QR code.
Yeah.
To a secret web page. Now, normally on the Bellingham podcast, being technologists, AJ and I don't usually recommend using your camera phone or phone camera on your
phone, really? Smartphone. I think
use your Fuji film to point and shoot.
Saying.
Yeah, all right. Your freaking mobile phone to scan a QR code because we don't know where they would take you.
Right.
However, this one, after putting together 500 pieces, you got a QR code. It has a code included in the box, in which when you go to this website and enter your code, it is stated in the website, which we have a link to in the old Substack, you will win anywhere from 25 cents to $1 million.
So it's basically a puzzle version of a scratch ticket.
Sure. The scratch ticket takes about 4 seconds to reveal. This one takes minutes or hours, depending on how good a puzzle person you are. Anyway, the $1 million puzzle, I ordered one, and one member of my family who doesn't listen to this podcast on a regular basis, we got one for them too. So anyway,
and so how much? So are you telling me you won $1 million, Chris? Is this how you're announcing it?
If I was going to announce that, that would be in a show entirely itself. Because that would mean I would unload a list of responses I would like to give a certain amount of people over this pocket. No, I'm just kidding. No, it hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm hoping to get it before Christmas time.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, something to think about if you're a puzzle person. This might be a profitable one, depending, or it's a good time.
Dude, that's cool. That's cool. I dig it.
Tick.
So if you go way back in the archives, matter of fact, if you go to the first year we did this, Chris.
Oh, you went back there, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, you went there.
There is even YouTube video, because we have Faces Made for Radio.
Oh, bloody heck.
And we did our first and only video gift guide.
Yeah, but we didn't get a whole lot of response for a second one. Anyway, go ahead.
No. So in it, I mentioned the Fuji Instax printer. It was the SP1 at the time.
It was at Triangle Woods.
Yep.
Back when it was there. Yes.
Yep. So I mentioned this instant printer. If a lot of the kids these days have the instant film cameras made by Fuji that use the small film. They're business card sized. Well, Fuji, being a camera and film company, they make lots of different film stock. They still make 35 millimeter film and such. Well, there's a film stock that I have wanted to get my hands on. To use in that process that I described, in my Patreon and in that video and stuff, where, I can take a professional photo, self-develop it on using the photo printer and such. And I've done that before, but the Instax film is small, and I always wish they would just use their wide.
They must have listened to you.
Well, after 5 years, I got my wish. Fuji announced and released just about a couple weeks ago the Fuji Instax Wide Photo Printer. It is the printer I have been waiting literally 5 years for, Chris.
Are you listening, AJ's wifey? AJ's been waiting for this for quite some time.
Actually, thank you, Mom and Dad. My pops actually got it for me for an early Christmas present.
Hey, AJ's pops, way to be on the stick.
So what it is if you're used to a Polaroid, it's not a square, it's actually rectangle. So you can actually print landscapes or portraits. It's the proper ratio, 4:3, I think, is what they're using as the ratio. But it's basically the size of like a 3x4 or 3x4 card.
Stop being technical. Just get to the highlights. We're not all as technical as you.
Anyway, it is still expensive to print. It's basically $1 a print to get the film stock. But if you want to have, again, experiences is kind of our key thing. The printer is pretty pricey. It can be anywhere from about $150 to $200. But the thing is, and I've said this over the last 5 years, Chris, get your pictures in frames or out of your phone or however you take them. Get them out. You want to have analog photos. That's the only way that your memories, like, it saddens me as a photographer to see camera rolls on phones and people like, oh, I gotta show you this one photo, and it takes them 9 years to pull up a photo when I'm in their house. Houses, especially around the holiday season, should be filled with photos.
There you go.
This photographer says so.
Absolutely. All right.
Talk.
So I'm all about, but I have no idea, no way to set this up. There's a cool book out there.
Okay, cool.
It's called Sustainable Home.
Okay.
And this book is written by a YouTuber whom I follow of the minimalist genre. The title of the channel on the YouTube is simply by Christine. And Christine is down in the Bay Area, I believe, the last time I followed. But basically, she is all about sustainability, minimalism, and living a cleaner life, literally. Mm-hmm. And what a great way to, as you are approaching a new year, to get some tips from someone who's in the know. And the link that I got on the Substack will not take you to that bookstore that first popped into your head.
Nope.
This one is for indiebound.org. And if you were to click on that and order it. Hey, you'd be helping out. Oh, by the way, this YouTuber, Simply by Christine, actually, her parents call her Christine. She actually has a business outside of her YouTube channel called Christine's Cookies.
Really?
And if you go to the website, do a little digging. You know what it is. You know how to get there. She creates homemade, great ingredient cookies. They sell for a premium. But what I was curious is there was a black sesame Oreo set of cookies.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty interesting combinations of ingredients. Not just a book about a sustainable home, but there's also some tasty treats if you're interested in that. But that's an idea for taking care of yourself or someone who may want to be able to have a happier home.
Dig it. Sustainable Home, Christine Liu, and it looks like it's available at Village Books.
Well, yes, absolutely, as well it should be.
Okay, so for me, my last one is this is just something that I'm going to call a stocking stuffer. I've mentioned it already on previous episodes. Cantonment kerchiefs.
Oh yeah.
I've mentioned them on the show for a wide range of reasons, but the thing that I want to throw out is if you have somebody in your life that is into watches or automotive, or if you have a gentleman in your life that you just want them to be a little bit more dapper.
If you have an AJ in your life,
or you can send, that's fine. I have 2 sets of them. Take a look at Cantonment Co. You can either go to their website or they're available on Worn and Wound.
Oh, click on the link in our
Substack, yeah.
Or our Stubstack, whatever, the Substack.
But anyway, take a look at them. Like I said, I've kind of put them through their paces, and if I really like what they're doing. I really do.
My last talk idea for your Christmas holiday, we couldn't have a show about gift giving without an experiential opportunity, and this is a date night. And when this is released, you got a couple days in advance. Here's what I'm proposing: December 21st, on the 4th day before Christmas, you and your true love will go to see having dinner at the New Mexico Tamale Company in Cordata Center, which is by that big Burlington place. New Mexico Tamale Company, how do you put it, is the goods.
Oh, they're the goods.
My beautiful wife, who's a very discerning consumer of Mexican food, loves, lots of O's, loves this place.
Oh,
and they're really cool. They actually, I was observing this, for anyone who might be new to visiting their restaurant, they take the time and ask you questions about your dietary restrictions,
right?
Your eating preferences of what you like, things like that, and they get you the curated thing that you might be enjoying. I'm just like, food, and I point to it on the big screen, and they deliver it to me. Anyway, New Mexico Tamale Company for dinner. Awesome. Then you amble over up on Bakerview northbound, I believe, towards Fireside Martini and Wine Bar. Great location. We haven't mentioned them too much on the show, but it's they got a fireplace, hence Fireside. But they've got this thing called a boozy box.
Tell me more.
And here comes the preface. We always honor our listeners who are the heroes among us who are going through recovery for various forms of addiction. However, if you are someone who would like to have a drink, the boozy box and the link that we have to take you to their website, ingredients that you would probably provide the base alcohol of choice, but you have a lot of accessories to put in.
So it's like herbs and bitters. And
a lot of that.
Accoutrement. Okay.
Yes. And so you can get one of those or just simply have a beverage of choice. Huh. And then you're going to get off of Bakerview and head down Meridian, because you're going to be able to watch a fun holiday movie that many people thoroughly enjoy at the Mount Baker Theater. They're actually showing, the reason why I picked December 21st is the Mount Baker Theater is showing Elf on the big main stage screen at 7 p.m., I believe. Get the ticket online first.
Yes.
You know where to go. Just go to Mount Baker Theater's website and go for it. So that's an evening of fun pre-Christmas. I think it's an experience that y'all will remember, and like, hey, remember what we did last Christmas? We went to go have a tamale and have a drink and go watch Will Ferrell be a dork. Hey, let's do something like that again next year.
Is December 21st a Saturday?
I don't know. I don't have a calendar in front of me. Stop asking me all these questions.
Well, if they're doing that, and simmer down. So if they're doing that and they're going down to Cordata and all this stuff, they might be listening to us on KMRE 102.3 FM.
Of course. And on December 21st, KMRE is also broadcasting all over the internet on kmre.org.
Yeah,
I forget what day December 21st is. Well, let's do the math. Sunday, 12/19, 2021. Let's say a Tuesday.
Hut. Okay, so
very good.
So next up, rad or sad?
Let's keep this trend going. Hit it.
Okay, so Chris Powell, rad or sad? Digital and or mobile based ID cards.
Oh boy. Kind of like what you talked about with earlier with the WA Verify.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of thing, or ID cards in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to Bren for the heads up about the tips she gave you about WA Verify, blah blah blah. To have something on my phone that is of an identification or an app that I would need to install, I got no clue as far as what that company is doing to track me. Mm-hmm. I mean, our mobile phones are already low jacks to begin with. However, if I'm going to be required in order to go to La Fine's, for example, to get my tasty donuts, and they say you must have this app installed and the barcode will be the only way you can get in, I'm going to use another device of a burner nature or of a non-cellular nature that I'm going to have that app installed that has no connection to me or my Apple ID or my Google ID or my other ID or my blood type or my next of kin.
Yeah, EIO.
And I'm just going to have that as a dummy burner thing that I could go, here, I want a donut. I'm going to say sad.
Okay.
Eventually, as I got around to it. AJ, rad or sad?
So I think it's rad. And here's why.
Why?
So here's why. One, in the case of like DOH, it's not an app, it's just a barcode. So like it's a QR code. I don't have a beef with that. It'd be no different than if I took my stuff and QR coded it. The other aspect of this is, at the time of this recording, Apple has announced that the 5 states that we could get our driver's license on our phone.
Yay.
Yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So it brings me up to this notion of like, I like the idea of digital ID cards, and I know that there's a lot in the OSINT community that are just like, handing over my phone to law enforcement, what they would have. There's methods to lock out things so that only your ID is the only thing that's present. Okay. I'm not too worried about that. I like the fact that, for instances of like, you leave the house and you forget your wallet. Now, if you get caught driving, without a valid form of ID, you have a valid form of ID, or your insurance. God forbid you get into an accident, your car is crushed and you're looking for your, documents, not for your insurance. That's not where I'm going with this. But let's say somebody finds you. The medical ID has been baked into a lot of our devices. So if somebody finds you, they know how to contact, who's your emergency contact, your blood type before you get carted off. There's a lot of value add that I see in this, as well as the scary bits.
Fair enough. All right. I believe we have a consensus on a rad or sad. Next, AJ.
Yes.
AJ Barcet.
Yes, sir.
Geek at large, professional photographer extraordinaire. Rad or sad? LinkedIn post updates that are in a Facebookian non-business manner.
So these are. So I'm on LinkedIn. So are you talking about like I just has a cheeseburger type of updates? What?
Not exactly. I'm noticing this.
Okay.
That there are more and more professionals in my network who either like or post something about an inspiring tale where they have gone through adversity growing up or have been not treated nicely growing up. And now who they are as a professional, a powerful, confident, strong person.
Yeah.
Or some people are posting statements on whatever aisle that you want to be on in that political realm to get your opinion about the current state of affairs in this country and or world out there in a professional business social media environment. AJ, rad or sad?
Thank you for that clarification. Sad.
Why?
Okay. Well, one, I'm not a huge fan of social networking in general, but in this case, LinkedIn bills itself as a professional platform. And on top of that, like it's linked, integrated in some Office 365 instances as your personal contact card. And so all that information that you may be putting out there in a professional stance is also being gobbled up by your, say, institution or place of employment. So because of the integrations and because of freedom of speech, and employers have been known based off of social media to boot people, I find that sad. Yeah, just that, because it's Microsoft. Folks, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know where I've been. No, I know.
Anyway, Chris.
I'm going to go rad because it's a wonderful way for people to be able to, for those who don't want to purchase the Megaphone app,
Oh yeah, find folks
they
in
can
Megaphone.
go on blast in another social media venue. It's not like they're already doing this in Facebook. Let's bring it into the business professional environment. Let's just blur all those lines, and who you are as a person and how you feel about certain issues. It's everywhere you want to be. Next.
All right. Rad or sad? The term quantified self, and that is using digital medical data, like using an Oura Ring, Garmin, Fitbit to use that biometric data to, Tim Ferriss hack you or just get yourself healthy or whatever. Just
First of all, so I'll go rad. Quantified self, that is the start of a great password. Just from the amount of characters and such.
Put
like
a couple
that.
hyphens in there.
Sure. If you wanted to be able to have some information about how you are improving, I mean, as much as I dog Apple on this podcast and in general, the Apple Watch for some folks have been very helpful in alerting them to when they have really high blood pressure.
Yeah.
If they're in a sedentary state. That's a really good indicator that this is they're looking out for you, or you're getting this awareness information instead of, gosh, I feel funny. Oh, wait, my left arm is a little hurting right now. I'm going to go rad because here's a way that you can get modern technology to help you with encouragement about how many steps you got and other issues that may occur that you may not be aware of.
Wow, I thought you were going to go sad on that one.
I'm not
because,
always a Grinch, dude.
Wow.
Sometimes it's a good thing. Anyway, rad or sad, AJ?
Predominantly rad, with a bit of a sad take. I agree with everything that you say. Like 100%. As I'm double wristing my analog watch on one wrist and my Garmin Instinct on the other, I'm doing the same thing. I'm collecting a bunch of data for myself because of health concerns. But the other thing is the sad part of me looks at this goes, when you, for instance, my Garmin, as we talked about in previous episodes, the data is mine. It gets collected on Garmin in my own account, and it's free because I have the device. Aura, to whom I've looked at their white papers before, they did some great research during COVID. Their newest ring, you have to now be in a paid tier. And that's the part where I think this quantified self is a dangerous realm, where if we have to subscribe to everything, including our own data, that's my biometrics, I have a problem.
I got 2 words for you. Womp, womp.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So rad mostly, sad at the trend.
Okay, so we'll just go rizad on
Rizad.
that one.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Last rad or sad, the Amazon Web Services outage from Tuesday, December 7th, the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, by the way.
Super sad.
Why is that?
Well, one, anyone in tech support will agree. It was a very sad day. The second
I have
thing,
no idea what you're talking about.
The second thing is it shows an issue that is growing on the internet, which is our decentralized web in its impetus has become a centralized web. Netflix, Disney, Instructure Canvas is all on AWS. And if AWS has a problem, you have a problem. And in the early impetus of, DARPANET, this was a decentralized web. I'm not going to go too deep, but like if we look at blockchain and we look at the impetus of permaweb and Web 3.0, it brings back the notion of having replication and more decentralization so that, not to subvert governments or anything like that, but in case stuff breaks, you're not up the creek without a digital paddle. Chris?
You know, I'm for this AWS outage, I'm going to go rad.
Pwah. What are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm drinking seltzer, baby, and I'm of totally right mind. No, the reason why this outage was rad, it relates to what you were speaking to or alluding to earlier about tech support and how tech support was affected in this. Like the non-professional LinkedIn posts, this gave people practice. This outage gave people practice for those who are demanding to be treated with honor, respect, and dignity in life and in the workplace. It gave them practice to be able to walk that out in how you contact customer support when something isn't working and you're unable to fix it. Unfortunately, people still need a lot of practice because there was very little, a small percentage, a hair's width of empathetic understanding requests for information for why stuff wasn't working. I should know. I got paintballed on Tuesday by my clientele, with the exception of a few, and it was not a good day, like you mentioned. But here's the thing. It's rad because this is another instance for people to realize, oh, something isn't working. You can't be splattering your vitriol over someone else, especially when you do not want to be splattered with vitriol in whatever you do. Do unto others, y'all. I think I heard that somewhere. So I'm going to say that was rad occurrence for what happened.
And if somebody wanted to learn more about that, they might want to tune into the Canvas Insider podcast episode, which?
58,
58.
Yo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shameless plug for Chris on that one.
Yeah, exactly. That's a solo project, you know.
But
this is the mothership.
This is the mothership. But the mothership has demanded that we need to go to their favorite planet, the planet of quality assurance.
It's in orbit around Earth. Curated selections for your benefit by AJ Barce and Chris Powell.
Oh, this benefits the galaxy, yo.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a must watch. And you have to understand, folks, I actually took the time, Chris. I went up onto my Instagram. I found the person in question that I'm going to bring up in my quality assurance, went to his post and reposted it on my Instagram. I don't normally do that type of stuff. This is worth it. It's on Netflix. It's called 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible. It's a documentary about Project Possible by the Nepali mountaineer Nimsdai Persia or Nims Persia. He is a mountain climber extraordinary. He's not even a mountain climber extraordinary. If you listen to the Analog Explorer, when I was talking to Zulu Alpha Straps, episode 4, I think.
There you go.
We mentioned this guy in passing, and this was when he was doing this project. He is of another level. He's not just a mere mortal man. He is a mountain goat in a man's body. He led an all Nepali team to summit all 14 8,000 meter peaks on the planet. And he did it in 7 months.
That's a heck of a punch card.
Before that, Chris, the previous record to do the same thing took 7 years. This guy is, and I mean this in the most affectionate way, Nims, a mutant.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because I'll save the punchline. He does it. But at the end, him and his team, all Nepalese, there was just a small cadre of people, press, theirs and stuff. Nims pointed out, they're just lapping up saying, this is great. This is great. But if we were Westerners, this would have been an explosion. And that was part of what he wanted to showcase is the diaspora of mountaineering is predominantly by Western folk. And those of minority climbers, they don't get the same fanfare for the same acclaims. All right. And it was an interesting thing because also his Nepalese team, they were his brothers, basically. They were not Sherpas, schlepping his gear. They worked as a team. It's a very different methodology of taking the mountains.
It's wonderful when people actually work together.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
So it's a must watch.
Very cool.
14 Peaks. Chris?
So my quality assurance is we are in a season right now where everywhere you go, all around the world, well, maybe not. Anyway, everywhere you go, you're getting Christmas carols.
Oh, yeah.
And you're getting those Christmas songs. Well, there's a new take on it, and it's by one of my favorite guitarists ever. His name's Paul Gilbert. Oh. Even though I say never trust a man with two first names, Paul Gilbert is one of the best guitarists in the world and one of my favorites. For those of you who were fans of Mr. Big, I'm the one who wants to be with. Yeah, he's the guitarist for that. And before that, he was guitarist for Racer X, one of the best obscure hard rockinest bands from LA. Anyway, he is a accomplished solo artist, and he just released an album called Twas. Short for It Was.
Okay.
Twas the night before Guitar Rockin'. Yeah. Paul Gilbert Twas has some rocked up versions of some fabulous Christmas songs. Stick that in your playlist as you're dancing around the Christmas tree, having a happy holiday, putting ornaments and things like that on there. So yeah, check it out on your streaming resource of choice, or throw him a couple bucks and buy the darn MP3 album.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I dig it.
I'm supposed to say what I normally say, but I think we should probably...
wish everyone a happy holiday season.
That's right.
And that wraps it up for this edition of the Bellingham Podcast, Chris.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, I know, but thank you for listening to us and rating us, reviewing us wherever you like to get this podcast. If you're in the Bellingham area, remember, you might be listening to us on KMRE 102.3 FM.
They are community powered and streaming all over the darn place at kmre.org.
And on that note, stay warm, everyone. I'm AJ Barce.
And I'm Chris Powell. Thanks once again for joining us on this holiday gift guide edition of the Bellingham Podcast.